Hello, beautiful human, or ho, 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 beautiful human. Thanks for clicking on our conversation with Tori Kelly. I'm stupid, but please subscribe to us. I beg you. Tori will be here any second. She has a brand new album. It is a Tori Kelly Christmas. If you haven't listened, link in the description below. While you're down there, leave your honest feedback in the comment section below. And yeah, like the video, please. Please. There's a llama on my sweater. I'm going to pet this llama until Tori joins us. It's so soft.
Let's do this. Zach Show.
I'm really excited to discuss this album because it got me in the mood. I was decorating my Christmas cactus behind me. And
Cactus?
Oh, that's what that is?
yeah. What did you think it was? It's very narrow with two arms.
I don't know. I just thought it was like random garlands, like hanging.
Just hanging from the ceiling?
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
So cute. Christmas cactus? I've never seen that in my life.
If you're preparing or creating a Christmas album, how far out do you need to begin? Like, what is the timeline here?
Literally, I think I started the process in July, August. No, yeah, like July. Well, I basically finished my EP. I put out an EP this year and did the whole thing like in my studio, and then was talking to my team before I even put out the EP, and we came up with the idea to do a Christmas album because we were like, okay, we're probably going to be in this quarantine situation for a minute, and touring's not going to necessarily be like normal again anytime soon. So why not, like, maybe this is the year to do a Christmas album. I was like, yeah, I'm super down. Like, I had to wrap my head around that for a second, but then it just made sense because I've always wanted to do a Christmas album. So yeah, it was probably, I mean, we were definitely like, it was crunch time. Like because there, there's obviously deadlines. With any other type of album, you can just kind of keep pushing it until it makes sense. But obviously, Christmas happens, so you have to.
It'd be so weird to release this album in March.
Very weird. Very weird. But yeah, I mean, some people were releasing in like September. Like that's when like Christmas was starting.
Because now you have to learn this whole, I call it like a subculture of music, which is the people who choose to run the Christmas race. And it is like, it goes to a different drum. Like, it's not even just a different beat, it's a different drum, just to kind of like get it out there and service it properly. And like, how does it begin? Do you start with knowing what Christmas songs you want to retell and then figure out how many originals you need to make? Or do you start with the originals and see how much you have in you and then fill in the rest?
It's kind of both. At least for me, it was like you kind of I mean, for me, picking the songs was the hardest part, honestly, because I love so many different Christmas songs, and then you like, it's tough because you don't want to be like too cliche and do like all the ones that people would expect, but then you also want to have just a nice blend of everything. So that was really hard for me, just picking the songs. But I think I just tried to take a step back and view it as like a full picture and make sure everything just kind of meshed together. But I had ended up with 2 originals, 3 if you include the Target exclusive version. And sorry, my dogs are being crazy. Stop. Hey, stop fighting. Come here.
Yeah, say hi.
Come here, say hi.
Lou says hi. He knows you. Oh.
Okay, bye. No, but picking the songs was the hardest. I did have I had like some Zoom writing sessions. So like 25th was written over Zoom. And
Good, by the way. I love that song.
Me too. I love it. That one was so fun. That was Casey Smith and Wendy Wang. The 3 of us wrote that one. And then Wendy like killed the production too. Like she's like, she plays like every instrument and just like produced the whole thing. I was like, what? But also
call for that. Do you look for people who have never had a Christmas hit before? Do you go to people who have? Because like, it's a really small group of people who have like actually, broken the mainstream with a brand new fresh Christmas song.
Yeah, it's definitely, I feel like writing a Christmas song is like the hardest thing ever because there's so much pressure on it. And I just went to like the just good songwriters. I wasn't thinking like, okay, who's someone who's like had a Christmas hit. They might have had Christmas hits. I actually don't know. Cause like Gifts That Keeps on Giving, I wrote with two amazing people who are like based in Nashville who do like a lot of country stuff. Because I love like country writers. I think they just are such good songwriters. That one is Jimmy Robbins and Cole Gallion.
Who's having a better year than Jimmy Robbins? I don't know this guy, but I know his name from every record, like This City and a bunch of others. Like, who is like Jesus? Really, bravo to him.
Yeah, they killed it. And so for those sessions, both of those sessions, we had them already scheduled because I was just starting to get back into writing, and I just like gave them the option. I was like, hey, so like I may or may not be working on a Christmas album, so we could do that, or we could just write like, you know, to write, like we can write a song. I kind of just threw it out there, and both of those sessions, they were just like super down to go Christmassy with me.
Do you bring different energy to that session? Cookies?
And cookies? Did you say cookies?
Yeah, anything Christmas related?
Energy like cookies?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think, well, I felt like I was already kind of in Christmas mode. And yeah, we didn't have to like really force anything. I think we all just like knew, like we just kind of got into the zone right away.
What's the hardest part about writing a Christmas song? Because like, there's only so much you can write about. It's Christmas, and I guess you don't want it to be too cheesy. So how do you kind of tackle that?
Yeah, that was tough. It was definitely a challenge, and I remember, so like for 25th, I think we started with the title on that one because I remember saying like I want a Christmas song that like doesn't have like a typical title, and we were just kind of like brainstorming ideas, and I was like, what if it was just like a number or something like that? Obviously implies Christmas, like the 25th, but I think we were brainstorming the title more on that one, and then we just kind of started messing with some chords. And you can't really be afraid to go cheesy though either, because it's like Christmas, you kind of want it to be a little cheesy, you know? So that was the struggle for me, was like fighting that, like making sure I didn't like making sure that I was okay with like a little bit of corniness, you know?
You did it so in the right way. Like the subtle, the nods to all the other Christmas songs in the lyrics, I thought was really creative. I don't know, it's really good.
Thank you.
I like it.
Yeah, I did notice that you said No More Silent Nights, and you also put Silent Night as number one, the first track on the album. Did you do that on purpose?
I actually didn't. I like, when I was picking the track order, I'm all about like the feel. So just like what I'll, kind of I'll usually have like my bookends. Like I knew I wanted it to start with like Beautiful Strings. So I tried to see which song fit. And then I just go off of like, okay, I want a fast song here, I want a slow song here, and just go for the vibe. But once I like finalized it, and then I realized that, I was like, oh wait, that's kind of funny.
Is there a different approach to, I mean, there has to be, writing an original compared to taking on and doing a retelling or a reimagination of a song? Like your mashup of Joy to the World and Joyful Joyful is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Phenomenal. Should replace whatever else people are listening to right now.
Oh my gosh, thanks. That actually means so much, because that was like an idea that I had for a while when I was trying to figure out what songs to put on. I knew I wanted a couple mashups, especially because there's all these Christmas songs, and I kind of wanted to put as many as I could. So I ended up with, there was the O Come Emmanuel mashed up with O Come All You Faithful. And then, but I was really trying to make the Joy to the World and Joyful Joyful like work, because I hadn't heard that done before. And I was just like, wait, this would be cool. Like it could be in the same key. It could work. Like I can make it like sound like a real mashup. But I just didn't know I didn't even know like where to begin with it. So what ended up happening was I just literally recorded my vocal a cappella. Like I was like, okay, I don't know what the chords should be. I don't know like what the arrangement should be, but I just know that I want it to like, I want to sing it like this. So I literally just like sang the song a cappella, no music. I added like a couple backgrounds, and then I sent it over to Babyface. Wait, have we even talked about Babyface?
I mean, like, so he's executive producing the whole album, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Like,
and obviously he's featured on Let It Snow, but yeah, it's
throwing up. Yeah, I just sent it to Babyface. It was fine. Like he loves it. Yeah, he so he did the whole album with me, and which is like still so surreal to me because he's such a legend. But he was so amazing at just taking. I would do that quite a bit. Like I sent that acapella one over, and he would send back like a whole production with like all like what you hear basically on the album, like all the drums and all the different sounds. And I was like, what? So the vocal that you hear on the album is still the same version, like the acapella version that I sent him. And then he was really good at that though. Like I would send him like little voice memos of just me playing guitar. Like Sleigh Ride was a good example of that. Like I kind of had like an idea of what I wanted and like the groove and everything. And I just sent him a voice memo, and he sent back like a whole track. So that was kind of the style of recording that we did a lot.
wild. That's
So
it's crazy
just
because
just texting Babyface. It was crazy.
oh, and the product is flawless, and the product is like like beyond proper retelling of these stories. I think they're so good, and I'm not gonna lie, like part of me was like slightly nervous because like Christmas albums make people nervous a little bit. Like I don't want to be like to anybody. Like it really is, and this was like elevated.
Thank you. That
Elevated.
means so much. I mean, I was nervous too. It's like it's a big deal, I think, to put out a Christmas album, at least for me, because I've just always dreamed about doing it, but I just never it I never knew like what I wanted it to sound like. And then when Babyface said yes to producing it, I just knew it was gonna be like really, really special.
Yo, I gotta hit pause real quick to tell you about Jackbox Games. Guaranteed fun for everyone this holiday season. Jackbox Games, they are back with Jackbox Party Pack 7. We're talking about a new pack of 5 unique games that, like I said, guaranteed to bring joy and laughter to your life. Seriously, Jackbox Games has brought me and my friends closer together. We've been playing for years. Our favorite game is Quiplash 3. You and your friends are going to battle it out head to head with hilarious answers to quirky prompts. Y'all can channel your inner artist too by drawing characters in the game called Champed Up. Also, y'all should play one of my favorites, Devils and the Details. You and your friends have to work together. It's collaborative chaos, okay? You got to complete tasks before the time runs out. Jackbox games, they're not only fun, but they're made for everyone, no matter where you are. They are totally accessible. It's awesome. Jackbox games, they're on Steam for Windows and Mac. They're on Xbox One. They're on PlayStation 4. They're on the Amazon Fire TV. They're on your iPad, your Nintendo Switch, your Apple TV, and they're on your phone. They're on your mobile device or any web-enabled device. Really, you can use any web-enabled device as a controller, so it doesn't matter where you are. You can still play with those you love. You can play with people in the same room as you or over the video chat machine. But either way, it's guaranteed fun for everyone. 3 to 8 players are needed, and up to 10,000 people can watch in the audience. If you want more information, which I highly recommend that you do, go to jackboxgames.com to learn more. I'm telling you, they're so much fun. Try them out. Why has releasing a Christmas album been a dream for you? Like a lot of artists may never say that or admit to it. I mean, maybe Mariah Carey now, but like
Right.
not before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess like I mean, bringing up Mariah Carey kind of I feel like kind of makes sense because you look at someone like her, right? Like it's such an amazing artist who's just done so much in her career, like a legend. And I think by putting out a Christmas album, it's kind of like you hope to kind of follow in those footsteps. It's like something that all these great artists have done. So like I mean that's kind of the goal is like, oh, okay, like I want to put out a Christmas album that makes people feel good and that people can listen to in 10 years still, and it'll, you know, still feel the same. So it's definitely a challenge, but I think that's for me, like that was the goal going into it, was just something that sounded really classic.
That's the craziest thing. Like you just like touch on something so important, is like you're like refreshing timeless songs that have so much history and so much memory attached to it. It is pretty wild. I mean, and the pressure is kind of on, yeah?
Yeah, no, it is for sure. It is.
So
I hope I did it justice. I hope I did.
what made you wanna cover All I Want for Christmas?
Oh yeah, well that was because that's one of the bonus songs on the Target deluxe version, and I was just kind of, I mean, I already had the um you know, like the standard version of the album that was already like locked in. So I was just trying to think like what songs have I not done? What's something that'll give like a different flavor than what I already have? And I feel like All I Want for Christmas Is You is, it represents like this generation of like a Christmas song. Like that's probably the first song everyone thinks of when they think of like our time of like growing up, you know? So because I mean, for me, I grew up listening to like all like super old, you know, really jazzy like Christmas albums. So I think the Mariah album, when it came out in the 90s, it was just so groundbreaking, and I didn't have any like real like representation of that, I guess, on the album yet. And I mean, it was a lot of pressure doing that song. Like part of me is like, what was I thinking? Like, why did I do Mariah Carey song? Like when I listen back, I'm like, okay, why did I do that? But I did have fun with it. Like I knew if I was gonna do that song, I should like really switch it up. So I made it like halftime, to
Oh
where it
wow.
has like a little more of a groove. So it's not like the I don't wanna, it's like I don't want a lot for Christmas. Like it's more of like a laid back feel. So that, you know, little things like that, and just, you know, kind of switching it up, is what made me feel like comfortable about doing it. And I just love that song. So I love her. I hope I made her proud.
It is important to make these songs your own, right? And to do whatever you can to, but isn't it a balance of like keeping like some parts of the original?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like Oh Holy Night was like that for me, where I wanted to make it my own, but I didn't want to go too far like over here to where you didn't like recognize the song anymore. Because I mean, songs like that too are so classic, and people kind of want to sing along to them too. They're almost like, it's like caroling, you know, like Christmas carols. Like you want to be able to still have people sing along, because that's kind of the spirit of Christmas too. Is like everyone joining in, right? So it was a balance. It was like, okay, I want to like really sing like myself, and even like go off a little bit on some of these songs, like Joy to the World and stuff. But then there are other moments. You know, Christmas Time Is Here is another one, right? I think I kept pretty classic, and you know.
Best version of that song I've ever heard, in my opinion.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Literally in my notes. Yeah, so
I love
good.
that song.
So
Oh,
good.
thank you so much.
Was it Oh Holy Night that you just like went off at the end?
There is a big note at the end of, like, a really big, like, held down.
Yeah. I was listening to I Rewind. I was like, whoa, whoa. Is that just come easy to you, singing like that?
Nope, not. I was okay. So this is hilarious because I'm in my home studio, right? Like in downstairs, and it's, I mean, like I said, it's like July, August. I'm in LA, so I
Ah,
don't know if y'all remember the heat wave that we had. Like I'm literally in, and again too, I can't have an AC on because
no.
you'll hear it in the mic. So I'm literally, I'll never forget this moment. I'm sitting in my studio and I'm trying to like hit these notes, and I'm singing like songs like Let It Snow, and it's like so hot outside. And so that will be like a really, I think, a memory that sticks in my brain, is just recording this album. It was so freaking hot. But yeah, to answer your question though, I think maybe like a good part about it being hot is like I guess sometimes that could be better for your voice because it's like when it's like humid and stuff. I don't know. But no, it wasn't easy at all. I feel bad like for my husband who's here because he probably just hears me like yelling down there all day trying to hit these notes. But it's the fun part about recording by yourself though, because you can kind of like I'm definitely like more of a perfectionist. I want it to sound like really good, but I'm just in there alone so I can be annoying, which is
Do you
cool.
clean things up afterwards before you send it off to whoever needs to hear it next?
I'll just make sure that it's like exactly how I want it. So like, I mean, whether that's like taking this chunk from like take 2 and then maybe it goes into like take 3 or something. Like I'll kind of do my own edit and then send it off to whoever. But
Do you plot out vocals for a song, like where you're going to do runs and how you're going to do stuff, or do you do a pass where you kind of just feel it?
that's a good question. I think I probably more often would just do a pass, like, and just see what comes natural. Cause I'm even just curious for myself, like, what would I do without thinking about it? And then I'll always keep that take, just as almost like as reference, like what did I do without thinking about it, basically. And there've been times where like I'll use a lot of that very first take because it's just, not overthinking. Sometimes that's when you get like the best vocals. But yeah, I'll definitely do like a few passes. Usually it's like the whole song too, and at least to get like the right feel, and then maybe I'll go in and like clean up certain parts. But yeah.
You keep mentioning that you sang this and it was like 1,000 degrees in the summer. How do you get yourself in the Christmas spirit when you're like melting when you walk outside?
Or do you just not give it? And you're like, I got to sell these songs and I'm going to be Christmas in my head.
Yeah, I mean, it was both. Like I was just laughing inside a lot. I just remember thinking, this is gonna be so funny when I start like talking about the album. But I had so much fun. Like again, we were in quarantine, so it's not like I could do anything else. I felt grateful that I had something to do and like to keep me busy. But I did, and now that I think about it, I think I would find myself waiting till it got dark. So I would do a lot of like recording when it was a little bit darker, so it wasn't as hot. And then because it was dark too, I ended up getting like a little like cheap almost like disco light thing from Amazon, and I didn't know that it would have like Christmas colors on it, but it did. Like I didn't even get it for Christmas. I just like got it for fun. And then I was playing around with it one day and it was like red and green lights. So I just had that like in my studio. And that's about it.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah, that was my one like festive thing.
Dan can send you his onesie for your next Christmas album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, whenever you put out your second one, just let me know. I'll drop this off.
For sure. Okay, I'll let you know. Yeah. My second one.
Yeah, your second Christmas album. How many people have 2 Christmas albums?
That would be something cool to look up actually, because I feel like that's rare. I mean, Mariah for sure has one, but she waited like 10 years. I was like, here's another.
Yeah.
Well, I assume there was like some originals you didn't get to put on this album, or some classics that you wanted to put on here too, right? That you had to cut.
Yeah, if anything, if anything, it would have been like some originals that were.
How many others do you have?
There was a little handful. I mean, just a couple. It wasn't like a usual album where for me, like when I'm just recording a regular album, I'll have like a whole bunch of songs that I'll just not use. Or I mean, at that point too, sometimes you could be like here world, like if any other artist like wants them kind of thing. So there's really just like a couple. I'm only thinking of like a couple that didn't make the cut, but maybe if no one else like sings them, maybe I'll just like put them out like another year, because that's the thing, like once you have a Christmas album, I feel like every year you can just like keep adding to it and like re-releasing it, being like Merry Christmas again. I've seen people do that a lot too, so that would be fun.
Now I want to know the originals that didn't make it, and like what were you looking for or listening for?
I know. Well, like you mean like what?
I don't know. Did you set expectations for like outside of it not being corny?
Yeah.
Even though you kind of got to be corny because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, did you have like a list of like things that you wanted to hit on in these originals?
If anything, I was trying to have a nice blend of like I wanted to have like the fast songs and the slow songs, which is funny because the slow ones, I mean, I did end up using Kid Again on Christmas, ended up making the like, you know, the Target version. So that was great. But at first I thought like, oh, I don't even need any slow songs because I have all these other slow songs. So that was the thing too, was like, it was so hard to pick like which songs would make it on the album, but it came down to have like, you know, how many fast songs do I have and how many slow songs do I have, because I didn't want the whole album to be slow, and I tend to do more of the like slower songs. So I think all that to say, when I was thinking of originals, I was trying to think of tempo so that I wouldn't end up with like a bunch of ballads, you know.
We love these Target exclusives. Like what? Like this
I know.
is very cool.
I haven't gone to the store yet to get one.
Oh, I go to Target once a week, probably more. I'll pick you up I'll pick you up your own album.
Yeah, that's a feeling I think that like will never get old. Like I still get giddy thinking about that. Like I think seeing the album like physically is so crazy to me.
To see your face in a store, but also to like, yeah, you're right. Like the physical embodiment of the music and the hard work and the art.
The art.
Would you ever, I think this is going to just be, you're going to say no, it's going to be dumb. Would you ever do a song like Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer? Or does that just like not even cross your mind?
No, we know Dr. Elmo. Do you need the rights to that? We can help you out.
Wait, what?
We know the guy who wrote that song. He's my only Christmas connection. Well, Mariah Carey ate Mexican food one time across the restaurant from me, but she doesn't count.
Connection.
Yeah, she's my other one.
What made you think of that? Like, do you want me to sing that? Do you really love that song? Like, are you hoping that I'll sing it?
No, I was just seeing what songs you put on the album, and I was like, well, there's no Frosty the Snowman, there's no Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. But then I thought she wouldn't do that. Like that just doesn't fit. I don't think that's her.
I mean, it's not the first song, but like, you know, when I think of Christmas music, like maybe I'll do like I don't know, like a more like kid, like silly Christmas album one day.
Don't take this as peer pressure from Dan.
I feel a little bit pressured. Am I going?
Well,
I'm a yes person.
just know that when you need Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, come to me. I know Dr. Elmo.
Yeah, you'll get it cleared for me.
Yeah, I got you.
Does speaking of getting things clear, does Mariah Carey have to clear it like herself? How do you get that approval to do that song?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm so bad at knowing those type of things. Like I didn't even I mean, someone cleared it, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think it wasn't like a struggle, I guess. So if it was Mariah, then thank you so much, Mariah.
Oh my God.
And if it wasn't Mariah, thanks to whoever did it.
Yes, exactly.
Please, this album is for you. I'm telling you, if you celebrate Christmas, you need to have this album on this holiday season. Even if you're home alone. I hung out for the last day alone in my house decorating, listening to the album, and I felt great.
Thanks. Yes. That's great promo right there. Thank you so much. That's great.
I think it's what are you about to say, Daniel?
I just want to know if you can explain the elf interlude.
Oh, good question.
What is there to explain?
What like I mean I think there's like, where did it come from? How did you say, oh, I have an idea, let's put an elf interlude in here?
Oh, I feel you. Okay, so I was actually just messing with you, but if people don't know, so one of my favorite, not even Christmas movies, but just like favorite movies is Elf. And I just love it so much. And I've always loved the soundtrack too, like just the music in that movie. So it was kind of, so as I'm like making the album with Babyface and we're like sending things back and forth, and low key, like on the side, I was kind of working on this acapella thing just like for fun. I wasn't even putting pressure on myself of like, this is going on the album. Like I was just kind of experimenting with it. And so, and I did it all a cappella. So I just started listening to the song like over and over again and trying to copy like all the sounds that I heard. And also, I guess part of me too, when I think of Christmas music, I actually think of like a cappella music. Like my dad and I listened a lot to a group called Take Six, who had a Christmas album. They were like all a cappella. You got like Pentatonics, who's like killing the Christmas game like every year. Love them. So
I forgot that they've redefined some Christmas music too.
yeah, no, they're so, I call them the kings and queens of Christmas. Like they're so good. And even like Jacob Collier, who I've done stuff with, like his tone reminds me of Christmas, and like he does a lot of a cappella things. So all that to say, like I had this idea in the back of my head. I was like, what if I did something a cappella? So I started working on it on the side. And then I was kind of nervous to show Babyface because like I didn't know if he would understand. Like I didn't even know if he like knew the movie. Like I just felt really awkward. But I was like, hey, we were getting ready to do Let It Snow. Like we were brainstorming about like what should the key be, what style should it be in, and then we were kind of getting down to the wire. Like I was like, okay, I need to send this or else it's not gonna make it on the album. So I sent it. I was like, hey, what if we make Let It Snow like in the same key as this acapella thing that I made, and maybe they can like be a thing like together. And he was like so down and just asked me a few other questions and then like sent back this whole production with the acapella thing in the front. So I feel like that was a really long description of this Elf song, but I get really excited. I'm glad you asked about it because it's just one of those moments on the album where it just feels like so me. Like the whole album feels like me, but I mean, it's a cappella, so I feel like I handcrafted that little part, and it's just like a little piece of something that is really personal to me because I love that movie.
How good does it feel to send something like that off to somebody like Babyface and not only get appreciation, but like to like have him like creatively add to it in a great way?
Yeah, for real. Like he made it so seamless to where like the acapella thing ends and then like the drum fill thing happens and it goes right into it. So, and he was so gracious to even hop on that song. Like he didn't have to do that either, but we have like an actual duet, which is crazy.
Let It Snow. A Tori Kelly Christmas is here for you to enjoy this holiday season. Yes, Daniel.
I just wanted to ask about the EP you released in the summer. I just wanted to ask about the EP you released in the summer. I just was surprised you covered Drake.
You were?
Yeah, I just didn't expect to see a Drake cover on the EP. What made you want to cover Time Flies?
I just love that Zach though was like, yes, Daniel. Like he can tell that you have a question.
Well, I had a couple questions. I did want to bring up because like Elf is obviously one of the greatest movies, not just Chris's movie. It's just one of the greatest movies.
No.
And
it is a great movie, but you got to preface by saying, hi, Tori, I like Elf, but I've only seen 2 other movies in my entire life, Elf and Dude, Where's My Car? So your movie
classics.
knowledge is limited, Daniel.
Those 2, that's it?
That's it.
Saw The Wizard of Oz when I was a kid.
Great film.
Yeah, but you know what?
Classics, right?
In Elf, one of the best scenes is when Zooey Deschanel and Will Ferrell are singing together.
Yeah.
But that song was #canceled. So.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. The Drake cover. What made you want to cover Time Flies?
Time Flies. Yes.
Time Flies. Sorry.
Wait, what did you call it?
I think I reversed. It doesn't matter. What made you want to cover Time Flies?
Flying Time. Time Flies. So I knew the EP. Wow, I have to like go into EP land because I feel like it's been literally 10 years since I've put that EP out, and it's
as actually.
Yeah. So the EP was so fun because I did all of it in my studio, and I just worked with different producers like remotely. But I knew that I wanted to throw a cover on there because it just felt. This EP kind of felt like going back to like my EP days. Like I put 2 EPs out before I even put out my first album, and both of those EPs I did like all by myself, really like handcrafted, just felt like, you know, I produced them and everything. So, and at that time when I was putting out those EPs, I was doing a lot of YouTube covers. So it just felt like, with, you know, being in quarantine, being stuck at home, I was just getting this deja vu. I was like, this feels like when I was literally just starting out in my room, like all day making music, doing YouTube videos. So I was just thinking, like, what a cool way to kind of, you know, pay tribute or give a little nod to the early days of my career, than, you know, to do a cover. So I started looking up different songs. At first I was going to do more of like a throwback song. And then I was like, nah, like what if I did? Cause I was thinking of like the Thinking About You video, where when I put that out, that song's like really new. So I was like, what if I kind of do something like that, where it's like a little bit of a newer song, maybe by like a rapper or something. So I'm just brainstorming, and then, you know, came across Drake's album, and that song just stood out to me. I remember hearing it and then trying to copy like the chords, and it just sounded really cool to me on acoustic. So I just, like, you know, recorded it, and that was it.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a cover at first, because when you put the EP out, I just had no idea. But then I heard you say, yeah, I'm outside in an AMG. And I'm like, I don't think that's a Tori Kelly lyric.
I should say that. Maybe I would. I don't know. Maybe there's sides to me, you know, that I haven't discovered yet.
Layers.
Layers, yeah.
Do you have any other questions on that EP? I mean, by the way, I think it's very cool that that you wanted to go back to where it all started, and not because you didn't want to. I mean, you were forced to, and you felt inspired to create during that. And
Yeah.
dude, it's cool. It's, as somebody else who started creating from my bedroom, it's different. It's different creating from the house than it is creating from an actual studio. And but it's weird. It's very, very, very weird. Do you like it more? I mean, is there anything that you've done over the last 6 months, 8 months, that you feel like you're going to take with you once this is all over, creatively and like workflow wise?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. I think, honestly, like when I was recording from home, for sure, I think I kind of gained like my confidence back a little bit with that, of just like reminding myself, like, hey, you can do this on your own too. Like, working with other people is amazing, and I love collaborating, but I think being in my studio, it was a cool time for me to, you know, remember how I started, and gain just a little like reassurance, I guess, and
Totally.
internally. But then also on top of that, I think like connecting with people online again, like I think I took it for granted a little bit. Like I love my fans so much, but I think I wasn't as active, I think, as I could have been. And so when quarantine happened, and I did like the live streams, like in Instagram Live and stuff, and having, you know, special guests on, and
It was so good. I loved watching them.
thanks. It was so fun. And I think I want to take that with me for sure. Just like that real like connection with fans, and just even just like going online more and just saying hey, or like I think another side to that too is how easy it was, like, to hit up other artists. Like I don't know if this is just me. Well, it's not just me, because I did get to talk about this, even with, like, I had Jessie J on, and she brought up such a good point. She's like, look how easy it is for us to just like connect and like sing together. And I was like, you're so right. Like we always, I think artists, like, we forget that we're all kind of in this together, and we put up like these weird walls where we're like, oh, I'm not going to reach out, like I'm busy or something, like, or they're like, you know, they're like up here on this level, like I'm not going to say anything. So I think by doing these Insta lives, like it reminded me, it was just cool to see like artists come together and how easy it was. I mean, granted, like we were all at home, so we were all like not busy at all, but you know, people's schedules were a little more free, but it was just cool to be like, hey Jojo, like, you want to hop on? Like, hey Alessia, like, just people that I've always like really respected and really loved their talent. And they're just dope people. It was cool to just like connect with them.
Dude, community, connection, and a Christmas album, a Tori Kelly Christmas. Please consume it. Are you gonna listen to your own Christmas album on Christmas Day?
Okay. Oh, am I going to? I don't know yet. I feel like that's weird, kind of. But like I might. I don't know.
Okay, let me know.
I listened to it when it came out because I had like forgotten about it low key. Because you do these songs like we were talking about like so early in advance. Like you have to do them in, the summertime. So I wanted like a palate cleanse, and I didn't listen to it at all. And then when it came out, I was like, oh yeah, I made a Christmas album. It's so cool. So maybe I'll do that again when it's Christmas.
A Tori Kelly Christmas. There's a link in the description below. Please listen, share it with your family. It is a timeless album that is guaranteed to bring you joy for many years to come.
Yeah.
I wish you and Andre and your pups a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You too. So great talking with you guys always.
I hope to see you in 2021 in the studio I haven't seen you at a concert in forever. We were going on a streak where I ran into you a lot.
Literally, like, yeah, every concert I went to, I'd be like, hey, Zach, what's up? Like, every time.
It's a joy. It made me very happy. So hopefully when it's back,
Yes.
I'm down to put any vaccine in my arm.
Yeah.
Right here. Straight in the vein. Sending you love and Christmas joy.
Thank you so much. Love you.
Thanks for doing this. Love.
Yeah.
Bye. Hey, beautiful human. Thanks for watching our full interview, but I get it. Like, a full interview is a lot. So we got a clips channel. We don't expect you to watch the full thing anymore, so we just gave you the highlights. Please subscribe and notifications and all that stuff. Okay, cool. I love you.